Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador. And we are winding down this week, getting all of our Christmas gifts finished. And we have a great show for you today. Cathy Gandy's coming on. These projects are so cute, fast and easy. You can get them done today. But also it's a lot of inspiration for even next year when you're trying to work on some fun things. So pop in, say hi. What is on your sewing table today? I should also ask, are you baking? Because as you all know, the kitchen is not one of my fortes, but I do love baking. So anybody making anything good like cookies? Because that's my favorite. Hey, Cathy, let's welcome Cathy Gandy to the party. How are you, Cathy? How are you?
I'm doing well, getting ready for the last few days before the big day, before Santa comes.
I know. I have been so busy, and I've been sewing, I've been baking. I know everyone's probably like, I was allowed in the kitchen. Yes, I love baking. I actually made my own wedding cake, believe it or not. I love baking. I just don't like cooking.
Yeah, I do. I like both, but sometimes it's just a baking time. That's just the way it is.
It's a baking time. I was wondering, I was laughing with my sister. I said, I wonder if the Scan and Cut could cut our cookies out. Don't try it, guys. Don't try. That was not a brother approved cutting method. I just had to say that because I was like, that would make it
would
so
have to be
easy.
under. It would have to be under 3 millimeters. So I don't know if that would work. That would be a pretty flat cookie.
That'd be a flat cookie. All right, Cathy, what do you have for us? Because I know everybody's excited. A lot of people are on vacation right now, so they're binge watching, and we're glad that you're here. We're live in the chat today, by the way, everyone. So leave your comments and questions. Cathy, I'm gonna let you take it away because this is a very cute project you're working on.
Well, I was thinking that it's kind of last minute or not, but I was thinking of your sewing friends. Sometimes we forget the sewing friends, and you want to do something kind of special for them. So I was thinking something small. So let's do some pin cushions. So I have this one here, and we're going to be doing some decorative stitching later. But this one is pretty unusual. Do you see how it's shaped? It's 2 squares. There are squares like this. And then you sew them with the corner to the middle, corner to the middle, and it gives it this unusual shape. So I think that's kind of neat. You get some really cute little pins here. Here's a couple snowflakes and a cardinal. And I just think it's a really cute gift for them. And then you can use your decorative stitches, which we don't always use. So I just think that's kind of fun.
That is so cute. Don't worry, everyone. She's going to show you that sewing to the corner to the middle, corner to the middle. So don't worry. But what a great idea. I love the odd shape, and I love how the decorative stitching kind of wrapped around. Very fun.
It's interesting that I seen that several years ago, and I thought I really like that. And you don't see it done very often. So here's another one, and this is just a little half square triangles. You're going to do whatever. You can just do a plain top if you want. But what I loved about this is that it has these little side holders on it for your clips. So you not only have your pins, we have a bee and a flower and a bird here, but you have your clips. So if you need a clip real quick, you can just take your clip off and use it. I really like how these little flanges are on here and you have your clips on there. So these are just fun, small gifts to give to your sewing friend who will really appreciate it. Because when you turn this, you're going to do a little hand sewing, and who is going to appreciate that more than another sewer?
What a great project. I love the first pin cushion, but I really like this one because we all have those clips when we're sewing leather and tricky fabrics. And I just have mine in a bowl. This is way cuter. Great idea.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need 1 or 2. You don't need to get out the whole thing. So it's right there. So this is the sewing from the middle to the corner. So this is the corner of this piece here. And then this is the middle of this square here. So you go from here to here, and then you're going to turn it, and then you go from this corner to the center, and then you just keep turning it, and you end up with that unusual shape. So it's really pretty easy, but it is hand sewing. So you have this here. So this is my decorative stitching, which we're going to do some decorative stitching. You have batting in between here, and then you have another piece of fabric. You sew them together with your 1/4 inch seam. You can make these any size you want. This is 5.5 inches. So 1/4 inch seam all the way around. You turn it, hand sew that closed, and then you have these two, this all finished. And then when you sew them, you're just going to sew. You can see that you can sew the inside lining together there. So it goes together fairly quickly. And then when you get to the last, you go ahead and stuff it. You can use your make your a little bag and put your walnut pieces in there. I just use polyfill. I bought some emery, but I didn't use it, but I'm anxious to use that to help sharpen your needles. So this is how you put it together. Does it make sense?
That's really cute. Quick question. So 5.5, it's 5.5 by 5.5. So it's
Yes.
a square.
Yeah.
And
So it ended up being 5 finished.
Okay. So 5.5 by 5.5 1/4 inch seams.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You can make it 6. You can make it 6.5. You can go down to 4. I think this one here, this is the 5 inch, and I didn't want to sew much here, so this is just 4 inches. So you can make it any size that you want.
So they can make any size, but they need 2 full separate pieces. So if you so you have 2 separate pieces that have a top, a batting, and a bottom. So you got 2 squares. I'm using my hands. These are 2 squares.
Yes. Yeah. So you have your decorative, your batting. So it's your sandwich, decorative, batting, and backing. And you just sew, turn, and use the 2 pieces to sew together.
Perfect. All right.
So and if you don't want to use your decorative stitches, of course, on the Aveneer, we can go to My Design Center, and you can sew out from My Design Center. And I'll show you that real quick. Just one of the fill designs, and I can just use this to cut out my square however big I want. I could make it this big if I wanted. I could cut this down and make a huge one, or even make it bigger. I've done a little pillow with this too. So you can just use whatever size you want, because it's just 2 squares.
Very good idea. We love using those fills. In fact, recently we've had a few different things with using the fills in My Design Center. A lot of fun. So, okay, keep going. And don't forget, you guys, drop your comments and questions in the chat. We're live in the chat today. So even if you're watching the replay, we'll try to answer.
All right, let's go over to the machine, and I will just show you real quick in My Design Center.
That sounds great. So she's on the Aveneer today. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. She's on the Aveneer, but if you have My Design Center, many of the features that you have will work the same way. I mean, there's some added stuff to the Aveneer, but you should be able to follow along.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. Yes, it's just My Design Center. So you're going to go to My Design Center and say, okay, I've been in sewing, so it's going to move. And we're just going to create a fill. The first thing I want to do is I don't want to fill a whole hoop, so I'm going to pick my hoop size right here. And I will pick an 8 by 8. Not sure why, but I just like the 8 by 8. If you want to make a couple of them, you might want to change a different size, a 10 by 10. So it'll be, but it takes a little bit longer. So there we go. So I have my hoop size here. You can see the red for the hoop. And then I'm just going to pick a fill. So you know you have your lines and you have your fill. So I'm going to come to this button here, and I'm going to pick a fill. So this last button here is going to give me all my fill stitches. So I'm going to just select and wait. And I think I used, it doesn't matter which one I used. This one right here. And say OK. And it's all right. So I'll just say OK here. And to get it into my area, I need to get the bucket. So now it's going to flood the area, and there you go. And that's as easy as that. So I'm going to go to next. And what I want to do here is I am going to take the size down, and that's what I'm going to really concentrate on. I am not going to do the random shift because I like that. If I want like pebblings, I would pick a circle and do the random shift because that's a lot of fun. And because I'm going to make it small, I don't want a heavy stitch. I want a single run. So I'm going to take the single run and say, okay. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to take it down to 50% and say, okay. Because I'm doing something small and I want I want to be able to see it. If I make it too big, then I wouldn't be able to see it. And I'll go to set and okay. So I have my single stitch and I have my small design, and that's how easy it is to get a great design.
So simple, so easy. I know you all can't see the top of her screen, but she really didn't play anything on there, so you didn't miss anything, just so you know.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to go home here and say okay, and now we're going to go to sewing. So I'm going to push sewing and okay, and my arm is going to move. And here we are in the sewing area. Now, before I came on, I went ahead and put in a twin needle. I don't know if you've ever used a twin needle, and I think I've talked about them before. But when you get a twin needle, there's two sizes on the package. And the first one, this one is a 1.6 needle that I have. And then it's an 80 size. So the 80 size is the size of the needle, and the 1.6 is the distance between the needles. So I think with your machine, you get a 2.0. So there's 2.0 millimeters between the needles. So I'm going to come here to my settings.
Oh, you know what, Cathy? Now we better have you just raise your camera just a smidge because they're not going to see where to do that. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, I have to get. All right, so this is the twin needle case that I have. This needle is a 1.6 by 80. That means there's 1.6 space between the needles and an 80 size needle. So on our machines, we have a twin needle limitation. So you can't break that needle. So if you take it to the width too far, it won't let you go too wide. So that's only going to work on the utility side. And the character decoratives, because we have sideways motion, you're not going to have the twin needle limitation there. So I'm going to push this button right here for set my settings. And here, right here is my twin needle limitation. So I'm going to push that. And so now do you see how some of these have darkened? And that means that those can't be used with the twin needle. So I'm going to come over to number 2, and I'm going to use the serpentine stitch here. So I'm going to come over to my machine, and I'm going to lower the foot here, and we'll change to the other screen here real quick. Well, maybe not.
Cathy, I love the fact, and I wonder how many people in the chat let us know, when you're using the twin needle, how many of you have ever tried that? First of all, have you ever used a twin needle? Because I used to use it for hemming all the time because I used to do that instead of a cover stitch before I had a cover stitch machine. But also, I love the fact that it grays out the stitches you can't use. So you can't make a mistake. All right, we're back at Cathy on the machine.
Okay. All right, so I've turned the light off, so hopefully you can see okay. I'm going to go ahead, and it's on, the width is 5, so I'm going to lower my foot, and I'm going to go ahead and start to sew. But as I'm sewing, and I'll show you what it looks like later on, I'm going to go ahead and change that width. I'm going to make it a little wider, and then I'm going to take it down and make it narrow. So you're able to change that width if you like. And I'm going to stop this and use the scissors. And so, well, it didn't sew. It didn't sew exactly like I wanted, so I'm going to do another row here. And I'm going to lower the foot again. And I'm going to take my width. There's going to be some beeping on the screen. And I'm going to take my width up as far as it will let me go because it was on 5. So I'm going to take my width up to 6 because it's not going to let me go to 7 because it'll break the needle. So I'm going to go ahead and
I'm dying laughing, Cathy. I kept hearing that beep, 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 beep. I thought, what is beeping? You were actually touching the scrine as you were sewing.
Yes. So yes, you can change the sew. And if I wasn't using my push button for the sewing part, I could use my speed right here to change the width. But I'm just going to beep it on the screen. So I'm going to start again. And I'm going to let it start sewing. And then I'm going to bring it down. And it's kind of... So I'm going to stop and cut. And you can see how you have it wide, and then it goes narrower, and then it goes straight because I went down to 0. And over here, a little different here, so you can see the different widths that you can get and what the different size of the stitch looks like.
So I have to admit, I would have never, ever thought of that, being able to adjust the width as it's sewing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can do a lot of amazing things with this machine. So let's go ahead and go back to the other screen. And I'm going to change this needle here. So it's going to take me, I'm going to go ahead and take out this twin needle because we're done with it and change to a needle.
While she's changing that needle, leave your comments and questions and we will be right back. All right, we're back. And Cathy, I have a question for you because this has come up a couple times actually, and maybe somebody watching the show has had this happen. You mentioned that you can use the speed control to adjust the width of your stitch. Can you show them how to set this up and how to make sure, how to see if it's on their machine that way? Because I had someone one time that actually had their machine set up that way. They didn't realize it. And then some of the other features wouldn't work. So could you show them that?
I sure could, yes. So when you come to your settings, which is the little gear looking thing at the top, on page 1, the very first thing is your width control. And so right now it's off. And when I turn it on, now my speed button is my width control. It no longer controls the speed, it controls the width. So if I say okay, and I come to, let's take off the twin needle. I forgot to do that. Let's do that. And so now it's back to just a single needle. You'd see on the screen it had the 2 threads here, but now it's just a single thread. And I'm going to come to this stitch here. Well, let's just look down here. You see the width? Now the width is no longer the up and down, it's the slide button. So if you look at your width, you're going to know that you have that function on because you're going to see the slide button down here.
That looks great. And you know what? I would love to see in the chat how many people have ever tried this, or if you even knew that your Aveneer could do this, because that one little section there, how easy. Then she could just sit there with a control to make the stitches wider. But if you have that working, some of the other features on your machine won't work, some stitches and things like that. So
for satin stitching, it's yeah, do you see this one is grayed out? It won't it's not gonna let you do that. Well, no, that's the one I picked, never mind. I suspect that. Well, so there's nothing up there, but so right here, and I want to show you something else in the settings that you can, I don't know if your mechanic knows about this or not, but up here, this is your reset. So this resets to the default. I'm going to turn that off now so I don't forget. But this button right here, if you're having some problems and you're not sure and you've tried to explain it to the mechanic and they can't figure it out, if you maybe just give a screenshot, because this is a screenshot, so you can put this on your USB stick. You can put a USB stick in here, touch that, it'll send this screenshot to your USB, and you can send it to your mechanic, so if he can see if there's anything wrong on any of your setting pages. So
wow.
That's I think is a wonderful feature too.
Okay, that's a new one. I didn't even know about that. Did anybody else know about that? Because that's a great feature. Now that these machines are so computerized, it's going to make it very easy if you need something,
So
if you need help.
That saved people having to bring their machine in a lot of times because of this feature here, because you could accidentally put that on and then your width doesn't work and you get frustrated. So I'm going to say okay here. And now we're going to go over to the character decorative stitches. And I'm going to say okay here. So you have several places here for your character decorative stitches, and each one of these does a little something different. And we're going to just do what I had done on the little pin cushion. And so let me get my list here so I know what I did. I'm going to go to number 10. Number 10 here. And I'm going to pick number 17. 10-17, and that's this one right here. And when I sewed it out, I thought it was a little too close, so I'm going to take the length and I'm going to make the length 17. So I'm going to come up and make it longer and go to 17. Then I want to come into the guideline, and the guideline is now on. And I have just the regular guideline. I have the guideline down the center of the stitches, which I want. And then I'm going to come over to sub. And with the sub, I have the grid on. And I have the grid set at 10.5. And that setting is the width of the end foot. So it's 3 lines. So edge of the end foot, middle of the end foot, and then the other edge of the end foot. So I like this setting if I'm using the end foot. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this. It will leave it on, and I'll change screen so that you can see how it is on the bed of the machine.
Oh, look how great that looks. And I don't know how you're doing it, but there's a very little rainbow instead of a big one. But that does not come with the machine.
I'm going to scoot over here. I hope I don't get in the way of the camera. But with your first one, with your first line, sometimes I like to mark the line. And you say, well, you got the grid. Why do you have to do that? Well, the grid is permanent. It's there. It's going to show. It's going to project down here. But that doesn't control my fabric from being naughty and moving on me. You see how the fabric could actually move, and so my line wouldn't be straight. So your first line you kind of want to mark so that you can keep your fabric straight, because the lines are going to stay straight, but the fabric could actually move. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So I'm going to use the edge of this right here as my guide, and I'll just start sewing. And of course I came unthreaded. So I'm going to come back and find the thread. So I'm going to lift up my foot. Oh, well, you know why I came unthreaded is because I never threaded it after I took the twin needle out.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Yeah. Oh, and as you're talking about that, I have to say, if you have the twin needle in, do not use the needle threader with the twin needle. Do not.
Oh, exactly. And I did want to show you something here too. You need to thread the twin needle by hand. But if you look at the foot here, I don't know, can you see that? When I lower my foot, do you see this white on here? That lets you see the eye of the needle. So that makes threading that twin needle a lot easier.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that's why that was there.
Yep, that's why that's there. That's been around for a long time. But it really does let you see the eye of the needle a lot better. I've seen people use pieces of white paper behind there, and I'm thinking, well, you've got the you've got the white on the foot, so maybe that will work too. But I love that. Brother has thought of a lot of wonderful things for us. All right, so now we're going to try again on my foot and start sewing. And this width on this is 7.7 millimeters, but it has a lot of backwards and forwards motion. So I have put a stabilizer on the back of this, but on the other ones I did just starch it. But what I would suggest is if you just starch, after you finish a line of stitches, go back to the iron it out, and starch it again. Just because you see how it wants the fabric is not, it's moving back and forth, so it gives you a little bit of a bubble. So if you just starch it, it's just going to stay flatter and nicer and not to distort so much for you. So there we go, and I think that's enough. We'll go back and add stitches on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut here, and the foot will lift up, and here's the first row of stitches. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to select stitch number 921. So I'm going to go to 9, and I'll take you through these when we're done sewing. Then I'll come back and show you the screens.
And show the screen then. Okay, so hold tight. She'll show you this part on the screen shortly, but she'll do it and then come back and sew.
Right. So now I'm going to take the length of this one up to 5.6. And one reason that I do that is because it doesn't take as long to sew. So I'm going to put this is going to be right along this line here. So, and it should be right at the edge of the foot here. So I'm going to go ahead and sew. And you see how wonderful that grid is and how it just keeps everything right there for you?
I absolutely love that grid.
So now I can use the grid. After you get the first one done, you don't have to guide it outside here anymore. You're good to go, or you don't have to have a line. So now I'm going to go to the other side. And I like sort of 5 rows. You can keep going and doing more and more and more. I guess with heirloom sewing, I used to do insets and 5 rows, 3 to 5 rows is what I used to do. You see how quick and easy that was just to get those 3 rows done.
Wow.
So now this next one is going to take a little bit of time. And you see how it's a little wrinkled here, so it distorts. But if I press that, it would be nice and flat and everything would be smooth. So I'm going to go back and go to 953. And I'll just leave the default, and we'll just do one side of this. I won't do both sides. I guess you can figure out that how it would look. So I'm going to come up here and lower my foot and just go. So this has a lot of stitches in it. It's just going to take a little more time. I can keep this stitch lined up with this line down here. So you have, you used to have to just line up with the edge of the foot up here. I have a lot more space to line things up and get them just the way I want them. So this is, this grid and this projection on here is just absolutely amazing. And we'll just let it work just a little bit more. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas.
I'm planning on it, and I hope I can get something like this finished first. This is not even for the holidays. I have some group of ladies that come here and sew, this would be such a great gift idea for them to, number one, do the decorative stitching. I mean, I'll do that. But this would be such a great gift for them because little custom pin cushions, you could have their name on there. You could have, oh my goodness, I love this.
So, and it doesn't take very long to do. Go ahead and just cut this, especially if you don't pick one of these stitches that take quite a while. Now, this one took a little bit of time, but it wasn't that bad. But you see how heavy it is. So I like to do open, and this is got curves to it. This is more straight, and then this is fancy. So I like to do kind of a soft curve, and then something sort of sharp corners, and then another decorative. So that's the decorative stitching there. Now you can.
I love that.
So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take the.
Do you want to take us to your screen?
Off, huh? Yeah, well, I'll come back here in just a minute. I want to show one more thing over here.
Okay.
Close this, and I want to do the projection down here. So can you see that at all?
Yeah, look at that.
And so there's my projection. And I can take my stylus and I can say I want to look at other stitches. I can push that. And then I'll scroll forward and it will go to the next stitch. And I can just scroll until I find the stitch that I like on my fabric that's going to look good with my other stitches. And just keep scrolling and actually see what it's going to look on the fabric. So if I like this one, then I can come down here and I can change the width. And then I can change the length on it. So you have a lot of fun things to do with this new machine and the projection. It's just amazing.
I love the projection for many reasons, but with the decorative stitches, it shows you the exact size, exactly what it's going to look like. I mean, there's so many times you look at a decorative stitch and after you stitch it, you're thinking that's not really what I wanted. But this, you can see exactly, you know the size, you know what it's going to look like. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yes, it really is amazing. All right, so let's go. I'm going to turn that off and we'll come back to the regular screen.
All right, sounds good. While she's switching back, we are live in the chat today. So if you have any comments or questions, I would love to know, did you know about that little white feature behind on the shank of the foot? I had no idea about that. I'm sure you've told me that before and I completely forgot, but it really makes sense.
Yes, it's really nice. So what's that? Did I have the grid up on the screen or did I just have it on the? So when you come into your guideline marker, this is the first page that comes up. And when you turn it on, it turns on. If I want it off, I would just turn it off and then it would go away. But I want it on. And so these are my shapes, and I wanted a line, and I wanted the longer line, and the color red was good for what I was doing. So now this is the length of the line. So if you make your line short, you may not have it behind the foot. The line is a certain length, and what you're doing is when you move it, you're going to move it forward. It is the longest length that it's going to be, and then you move it forward so it's no longer behind the foot. So that's, if it disappears behind the foot, that's what that is. But you have it in front of the foot and behind the foot, and it just makes it amazing. Now this moves the line to the side to side. So when I'm doing, if I wanted to use this side here as the header of it, I would just take this line over here, and I could use that as my guideline if I wanted to guide this edge along something. So this is, I like to use this for when I'm using an applique stitch because it is offset. It's not down the center. So when I put that there, I know when I'm going to do my applique that red line has to be on my applique fabric so it will hit the head of the fabric and move over. So I love this feature. So now we're going to go to sub. And this is what I had the grid on. And this is where I changed it to 10.5. Now, if you look here, as you change this, it will tell you that now I'm at a 1/2 inch. So that's a little bit wider than the foot, but I liked it at 10.5, and that is just the size of that end foot. So I like the way that works. But whatever you find out works for you is the best thing to pick. So that's the guideline marker. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off and close that. Guess I didn't get it off. Let me push that again. Okay, and close that. So now you have your different areas here. So that first stitch that I picked was in 10. So I'm going to scroll here and come to 10. And it was stitch number 17. So I'm going to scroll right here, and here's 17. So that's that bow. This happens to be one of my favorites, but I thought it was too close together. So I came down here to my length, and I went up, and it goes to 13.9 from 10, and then it goes to 15.4, and then to 17.0. And you can see it changing on the screen. I thought that was too long. I like this size, and that I think worked really well. It didn't take long, but yet it looked good. Then the next ones are in 9, so I'm going to come to 9 here, and it's 9:21. So I'm going to scroll.
And then just move your head to the right just a smidge because your hair is there. You go.
21 there, and so that's another one of my favorites. So the length is 5.6. So I'm going to come down here. Am I in the way again?
Nope, you're good.
5.6. So I like that. It had a nicer look to it. It wasn't quite so compact. And then my last one was 53. And that was right here. Kind of looked like a snowflake. And I just left it the way it was. And you can see that it was kind of dense. But I liked it. I thought it looked all right. So it's just getting in here and looking at it and changing it around and see what you like. If you come here, it's going to show you exactly what it looks like. So we'll close that. And now we want to do a little bit with the combo. So I'm going to come and I'm going to go to number 6. I'm going to come back here. Now all of these have the editing features. I'm going to go to 6 real quick here. And so you have your editing, and you have your mirror image right and left and up and down. This is a single stitch, or this is continuous. Drop your feed dogs and combine, and this is your eraser. It used to be when we came into the character decorative stitching side, it automatically turned into memory mode. It doesn't do that anymore. You have to touch this button here. Once I touch the plus, that means I can add stitches. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got 637 in there. I think I have 630. No, I don't think I have. Oh, okay. So I don't have, I got ahead of myself. So I want to erase that but there. So now, because I've got the plus on there, so I'm ready to do memory. So I'm going to go to 6 and 37. Now you can see when you have your editing open, there's nothing to edit here. So that's why they're all grayed out. It covers this last little line of stitches there. So you need to go ahead and scroll, and then that gets rid of that. Or you can just turn it off up here. So I'm going to go to 637. And then I'm going to go to 640. And there's my combination. And sometimes you're going to see where it stitches. Now this is going to stitch down the center, so this is going to look really nice. It's going to so we're going to come back here, and we're going to say that we want to see it continuously, and you see how nice that is that they combine.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this the light blue one, the last one, it can be edited. Even if I mirror image it, it's not going to do anything. But this is where you can edit it. Now, if I want to edit the whole thing, say I had it and it was off, and I wanted to do one side of a shirt, and I wanted to mirror image it for the other one. So I wanted everything to turn. So once I push this button, now they're all light blue, so I can edit them all at the same time. So I love how that works. So you can get a lot of great stitches there. So I'm just going to erase that. And then we'll go ahead and turn that off. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the stitches up here. So all of these are going to have the same editing tools. When you come here, you have the different stitches, and they're all going to have the same editing tools. So let's get that plus off of there. So this is, so they're all going to have the same editing tools until you get to over here. When you get to this one here, I think it has, they all have the stepping, but this has some density. And this one here, when you push the editing, this one has elongation. So some of these satin stitches, they have a different editing than the rest of them. So elongation is going to take this and it's going to make it longer, but it keeps the stitch integrity. It just doesn't stretch everything out. It keeps adding stitches. So you can go up to 5, and then you're going to go back down to 1. So this is your elongation. So that there's a lot of great stitches in here, a lot of fun things that you can do with this. And then you can come and have, if you scroll here, you're going to come to your Disney. Of course, with Disney, when you get here and you touch something and touch the edit, you're not going to be able to mirror image. That's our Disney. So then when you come to the ABC, it's automatically, let's come here and erase the Mickey. When you come here, the memory automatically comes up because it thinks when you're going to do alphabet, you're going to be doing A, B, C, whatever. So you're going to add letters. And also here you have where you can stretch them apart. So there is a few different editing features that you can get with the different parts of the character decorative stitches.
You know, while you're showing those letters, I was thinking that's where, if you did that little pin cushion that you were showing, you know, with the decorative stitches, you could have their name typed out as one of the stitches. That would be so cute. Or little words like friends, sewing friends, you know.
Exactly. That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea.
Cathy, I spelled my name A-N. I'll wait for my pin cushion.
I think that's about it, unless there's any questions.
Well, we are live in the chat today, so leave your comments and questions. Cathy, if you want to come back to us, we'll look at that pin cushion one more time, because I know people who joined a little bit later are going to say, show me one more time how you put that together, the corner to the wrap. This was super easy. So you did put a stabilizer behind the fabric for the decorative stitches to help it from puckering, correct?
Right. I did for on camera, but if I was, what I did with this is I would do a line of stitching and then I would take it back and press it, because I didn't want to put I didn't want it to be real stiff. So then I did my other 2 lines of stitching and I went back and starched it and made sure it was flat. Because that's what happens if it moves too much and it's no longer flat, it gets a little distorted on the guidelines. So I just, after I sewed them, I just went and took it back to the ironing board and pressed it some.
That's awesome. I love that. It is so cute. So now show them how you wrapped it one more time, because and go really slow, because I know that some of my friends that are probably high on sugar from making cookies are like, show me this again.
Okay. So I started here, and you can see that I have, I don't know if you can see or not, I have 4 pins in the centers here. You see the pins around there?
Oh,
so
yeah, I can see the pins.
I started at this pin in this corner, and I sewed from here to here. Then I turned it and sewed from this corner to the center here. Now I'm going to take this and I'll bring it up here. Got my needle here.
Just hold it up a little higher.
Yeah. So I'm just going to turn this here, and then I'm just going to take and I'll just stitch from here to here. And then after that, then I will just turn this way. So then you can see that you're getting the more of the shape.
So do you start then basically, so you have your two pieces, your two squares, and you take and start the one corner right in the center, like in one of your pins, and then go around? Yeah,
it's corner to center, center to corner center. And so it's just, you start corner on one and center on the other. And then when you get to this corner, that's the center of this top one. And then you just turn and keep going. So it's just center, corner, center, corner.
Oh, what a great idea. Like a little oblong shaped. And then you just leave a little opening then to put your little stuffing in there?
I left the last one unsewn, and then just stuffed it. So that gives you this really unique shape. So you can see that this is corner middle, and then corner middle. So there's always a corner in the middle.
Great idea. Okay, so I know this question is going to come up, and it's not a Brother product. So can you give us a hint? Is it like a craft store? Where did you find those cute pins, especially the little cardinal one?
That was, I ordered them online.
Okay, so look online. I know that question's coming up. I already have the premonition, so just do a little internet search.
Yeah, for the cute little pins. They are so cute. I have a friend that is a beekeeper, and I got her some bees.
Oh, that's so nice. Look at how cute that is. I love this. So don't forget to share your projects using #BrotherSews.
So here's a flower and a bee and a little birdie with a heart on him.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's adorable. I love that one. Is there a pattern for that one? I know somebody's going to ask that too, or is it just a square that has the flap?
Yeah, this is an internet search. Yeah, you can find this. This is a pattern, but it's really easy. So you're just going to have a square top. I think this is about 5.5 by 5.5, and then these little things are just 1 3/4 and batting in there, 1 3/4, and then it's a 1/4 inch smaller than here. And then you just sew them and turn them and just baste them down. So it really is fairly easy to do.
Another great gift for our sewing friends. I love it. I love it. Well, and by the way, she's on the Aveneer, and the holiday gift guide is still out if you haven't checked that out. But with the Aveneer, all you have to do is register your machine. You have access to the master class. You also, I believe it's BES lettering, the BES silver. Is it BES? I better say it right. I have the little envelope here. The BES software comes with it. There's also the great luggage package. You can see that over there. My thread pack, my embroidery designs. And of course, you can always come back to the live shows and watch Cathy on the Aveneer and learn way more than you'll ever imagine. You always have the best tips and tricks. So, but that is in the gift guide. So make sure you check that out. Go visit your Brother dealer. I know they have really good sales this week. Hint.
Yes.
Well, Cathy, thank you so much. I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
A great tutorial. Everyone else, we will see you next Tuesday. Actually, Cathy, you're coming on next Tuesday with some organizing tips and tricks and something fabulous, I'm sure, that you're going to do on the Aveneer. I don't know what you're doing yet, but I can't wait till next week.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're going to have lacy fun.
Oh, hint, lacy fun.
Yes.
I love that. All right, everyone, have a great week. Tune in next Tuesday. Cathy and I will be on here again with some lacy fun. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you next week. Thanks, Cathy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.